Okay, so without taking much of time, uh, I'll start off with the presentation to understand about today's topic. Let's know what it is. Carbon footprint calculator. What does actually that mean, right? The presentation will tell us actually how much damage we are doing to the environment by way of human activity. Every human activity we do contributes to the adding of carbon footprint. Some way we are releasing the emissions. Unless we are nomads, had this even the current meeting that we are having today, we have created some sort of a carbon footprint. So that doesn't mean it stops us from doing meetings under lights, sit under trees or during daytime, but we have to find out means and ways how we can neutralize this damage that we have done to the environment. That's very important. And there are means and ways available. So what is important for us is to understand how much damage we are doing. Now, that doesn't mean I am doing kind of a moral policing, but how these small things add up, everybody that who is doing. Today, the climate change has become the center of focus, or rather you can say the focus of discussion everywhere globally. Everybody is concerned. In fact, yesterday also, Honorable Prime Minister, he time and again keeps telling that, by 2030, 50% of our energy will come through the sustainable sources. It's a huge challenge, big challenge. Why this situation has arisen? Otherwise, we have to be prepared to see disasters, which may happen over a period of time. Right now, we cannot feel or realize it, but some traces are being seen. So let's understand, how much footprint we are creating, and there is no harm we are doing. For example, there are at least over 24 people right now here. Everybody must be using their lights, some may be even under air conditioning or the fans, where the electricity which is coming is by burning of some kind of a fuel. It could be coal or a gas, or it could be even, your diesel, probably, right? But that's required. We can't be under the dark. So let me start my presentation. Hope the screen is visible to everybody. I'll just...
It's just starting. Yeah, now you can go into your slideshow.
Okay. So...
now, yeah.
Fine. All right. So, please, my correction on the ESRAG monogram or the logo that I have used, but subsequent slides, the Rotary wheel will appear. Right? I've just separated in order to fit in the text. Rotary clubs reducing carbon footprint to fight climate change. So the topic today is how we can reduce our carbon footprint. Now, as you all are aware, the Rotary International has added a 7th focus area called as supporting the environment. And I, in my district 3131, chair on the renewable energy and climate change. First of all, before I start my presentation, I would like to thank the ESRAG, the chairperson of ESRAG, my Rotary District 3131, the team members of the environment for providing me this opportunity. As a result of which this has happened, my fellow Rotaractors, Rotaractor Vedant, who's currently in USA, and also a colleague, Miss Aarti, she's an environmentalist who helped me in devising this Rotary Club carbon footprint calculator. So first, I would like to thank them before I forget it. So supporting the environment being a new focus area, I thought, why not first educate the Rotarians? That's very important, because It's not a fault that you all don't know how you are damaging the environment. Even I learned from somewhere. So today giving education is important, and that's how this idea came up. There are a lot of websites where carbon footprint calculators are available. I'm not denying that, but focus to a Rotary club or a Rotary club or an activity that the clubs are doing, it's very important to calculate how much damage we are doing. And that's what we did precisely by taking into account the parameters, which we will get it subsequently. So what's leading to the global warming or the climate change? The five broad areas or the five disasters we can say which are going to happen. One is floods. We are already seeing. Second is rise in sea level. Some places will see drought, the rivers. So water will be going much more in some places. Some places will have scarcity of water. All these are interlinked to the global warming and because of the destruction to the environment. The human health equally. You will be surprised to know, but most of the diseases that would be emanating, or and some of them which are already there, are as a result of the destruction to the environment and increase of polluting gases in atmosphere. So this now, to a greater extent, people have started realizing the fifth part. For the first time in the history of Rotary, perhaps I stand corrected here, let me know, because I don't know if there are any international participants, but we, first time in the history of Rotary International, a separate committee on climate change, shown at the district 3131. This was done. I'm glad about our district they have done. I'm sure other districts may have, as I said, I stand corrected. And first in South Asia to develop a web page measuring the carbon footprint of a Rotary club. For the meetings, for the activities we do, the projects, and assist in becoming net carbon zero. That's what we will be doing it on a ongoing project basis. So first, what we have started doing this year is calculating the carbon footprint. Once again, I say I stand corrected if any of the claims made in the slides are wrong. That's the link which we have devised, a very simple, user-friendly. All you have to do is to fill in the parameters. So we'll do a practical exercise here and find out, how much carbon footprint was created. All right, everybody so far so okay?
Yes.
I hope it was easy to digest until now.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Any queries you have, you can interrupt me, or we'll definitely have interactive sessions. In fact, I'm not going to prolong my talk very long because I would like to interact more. In fact, it could even be a learning exercise for me. Let me know if there could be any changes, corrections. So, I do a new share and I go to the website of the carbon footprint calculator. Those who are online, they can even see it by clicking on it, but I would request everybody to please pay attention to the screen. So I'll be putting in the desired parameters. There are certain fields which are mandatory to be put up. Certain are, if you desire, you can put up. If not, fine. So since I don't want to be biased to a particular club or a city, so I'll be just putting as Rotary Club of, let's say, South Asia, since we are from a South Asia. You definitely need to put your mobile number in order that you also get the carbon footprint calculator on your mobile, right? So here, should I put my mobile or should I put Meenakshi's number? How do you want?
Go ahead.
Okay. I'll put my number and then maybe I'll share you all that, the sample calculator. It will even download. I'm just typing my email. Email is definitely required because that's where you will get a backup copy. The date of the meeting, which is today. So we are on the 6th of March 2022. Now, number of members, Rotarians or Rotaractors that attended the meeting or attending the meeting. So let's take an hypothetical figure. I'm taking as 30. Then if there are any guest speakers come, or if there are any guests invited, other club Rotarians or the Rotractors, so I'll just take on a sampling basis, there would be 2 of them. Okay, 2 guests, maybe a speaker for along with the spouse has come. Number of days the guest stayed at the hotel. Now, if you're inviting a guest, probably they could be from the city, then you don't need to put this. You can just put in the data as 0. But if you have called a guest which is outside the city and you have to make arrangements for their stay, then let's understand, because they will be going back to the place where they are put up. There also, they'll be using the gadgets like the lights, fans, everything. All these add to the carbon footprint calculator. Imagine had the guest not come, that much amount of emissions would have not occurred. So we'll put it as 1 for one night, or one day the guest would have stayed. So, now, if 30 members have come, the number of 4-wheelers, perhaps some may have pulled the car or the vehicle, some may have not. So I'll put the number of 4-wheelers as 18. Right? These are all just hypothetical figures. You can put your own actually. Number of 2-wheelers, probably some may have come on a 2-wheeler. Let's put 2. So we have about 20 of them. The vehicles total come for the 30 members. Some may have shared it, some may have walked also, I don't know, or some may have been dropped by somebody else. So we are putting it up as a hypothetical figure. Now, duration of the meeting, please be very, very careful in this. It's not just the duration of the meeting when the speaker has shared the topic or has delivered a talk. The duration of the meeting is since the time the members have started coming. Now, this is of course for the physical meeting. Right now, we are not doing for the online. There is also an option for the online meeting, but we are doing right now for the physical. So what happens? We have a fellowship first. Members come, they interact. So there also we end up using some or the other form of energy, right? Then after the meeting also, there is a lot of interaction. People meet each other, discuss various topics, maybe business topics. So I'll take it as about 180 minutes. Please put it in minutes, don't put in hours. The reason being, the divisible factor of the hour is 60. So if you put 3 hours, it becomes difficult to calculate. It is not 300, it's 180 minutes. So that's why we put it as minutes. Next comes the number of lights at the meeting event. Let's say 4. Number of fans used, 2. Fair enough. A public audio system, yes, since the speaker has come, 1. Number of mics used, probably 2, because 1 may be for the president, 1 for the speaker, which must be there. The overhead projector used, yes, 1. Number of air conditioners used, very important, isn't it? It's an energy guzzler. How many should we put? I'll put it as 2 because there are 30 people, hoping they are all 1.5 ton. Then we come to the food part. Number of tea, coffee served. How much? How much tea, coffee we had served? All right. Now, some have repeated tea, coffees, or it could be just 1. Okay. So the beverage part we are coming. Let's also include the water in that. I'll take a hypothetical figure again here as 50. So hoping each member would have at least consumed 1 tea or a coffee, and some may have repeated. Now what happens is there are guests, there are children also who come, we have to add in that at times. Okay. Number of gifts provided. Please understand, every gift that we bring, we go, we come back, fetch the gift. We have created some kind of a carbon footprint, the wrapping, or whatever the content we have used for production of it. So let's be very, very specific or look at these minute things. I'll say number of gifts, maybe a gift, 1. Because the paper must also have been used. It creates a distraction. Some may use even a polythene bag or a plastic bag or whatever it is. So one gift, number of email communications sent. What it says here is, so before that, let's come to the fellowship served. Sorry, I missed out. Please don't miss. Right? The number of fellowships served. Yes, we did serve. Yes or no. There could be times wherein, you just meet for a brief period and go away. So you can as well put no fellowship served. So I'll go to yes. Next, we have to have the fellowship details. Did the club meet over breakfast? Did they meet over snacks? Did they meet over lunch? Did they meet over dinner? Or did they meet over a combination of 2 or 3? It could be, we are just not talking for the club meeting. We're also talking, let's say if it's a day-long project, where all these 4 can come into account, right? You may first meet at one place to have a breakfast, then go to the project site, in between have some snacks, have lunch at the project site, or sometimes if you are delayed, if you have your picnic, then you also have a dinner. So let's take it, this particular meeting was only over dinner. Tea, coffee has already been mentioned earlier. If you want, you can even add snacks, right? So right now I'm just taking as only dinner. What do we have next? Number of dinners served. How many? There could be some who are fasting, some may not need it. So you see, we have broken it up into veg and non-veg. Very critical it is. I'll come to that. Why non-veg? So why do we have veg and non-veg? Let's have about 18 veg. I'll take it. All right. Or should we have more of non-veg? Okay. So 18 of them as veg. Now mind you, there are 2 also, we have the guests who have come. So total in we have 32. So the balance, let's say we take it as non-veg. 14. Or let me make it as 16. If there could be a couple of more people who have joined later, we don't know. I'm just taking it as for argument purpose. Next, the type of crockery used, whether they were reusable, meaning whether they were steel plates, whether they were a chinaware, where the glass could be again cleaned back, or were they disposable. Because of the COVID, most of the places they were using disposable. So let's put it as disposable. When you use even reusable, don't think that we are reducing the carbon footprint. No, we'll be using the water, the cleaning, the efforts required. Every minute thing accounts. In the disposable, again, there is a carbon footprint created. If you are using, let's say, the thermocol, it is the worst. If you are using paper-based crockery, disposable, even that destructs the environment. Here we have put it as disposable. So that is as far as the food part is concerned. Then we come to the number of gifts, which I have already put it as 1. Number of email communications sent. Now for the meeting, some clubs may be sending emails. Otherwise, many clubs have made trend to use the social media like WhatsApp or maybe, I don't know, Facebook or some other media. Some clubs do need, the email communication as a backup. So here what we will do is, we will take about total of 60 email communications were sent. 60 meaning to 60 people. Here we are doing it. One was a pre-intimation and one was on the day of the meeting. Let's take it as 60. Number of WhatsApp, Facebook or social media communications sent. Now WhatsApp has become such a common form of communication in a country, we tend to send it often, maybe a week before, then 3 days before, on the day of the meeting in the morning, little before the meeting. Correct? It's very easy compared to email to send as a reminder. So let's take it as about 120. So 30 members, there were 4 of the communication sent as WhatsApp to each of the members. Here is where we have completed our data filling. Okay, you can see everybody here. Now I do a submit. Wow, can you see the carbon footprint? How much it was?
97.
97.58, right?
97.
Right. The moment you do this, it will also download on your desktop. Okay, I'll show it to you. And it will also be sent to your email so that you can share it with your members. There it comes to me. So this is the way it will look like. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And at the end, it has calculated.
98.7 kg.
Right. Now, we have created so much amount of a carbon footprint. Please don't take it that we should stop doing Rotary meetings or Rotary activities. Don't take it that way. It's a good education for us to know. The challenge ahead of us is, how do we become a net zero? How do we wipe off? So, on the contrary, let's use our other focus areas where we can overcome this carbon footprint calculator. So, for example, there was a Rotarian from Nepal. They said they do a lot of tree plantation. Now, tree plantation is very easy project. I do understand, provided they are maintained. And you have to find out the type of tree you have used, how much carbon footprint do they save in their life cycle, right? So you would have reduced your carbon footprint by way of that. Okay, you would have reduced your carbon footprint. I'll come back to. Are you able to see my screen? Is the presentation seen?
No, it's
Yes, yes.
calculated still.
Okay.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
In this meeting, all these people carry mobile or iPad or some laptop so that they record some of those things. Why will it not be better to take them also into account?
Good idea. You can.
Yeah.
But how do you keep track of it? Who has bought, who has not bought?
Some default will assume. Now everybody is having mobile nowadays.
Sure. Okay.
That will also add to this, no, carbon footprint.
See, there are many, you can do it. There are many minor things you can keep adding.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, when the meetings are going, a lot of them are active on their WhatsApp.
Yeah, that's what. That's it. First is normally I say mobile off.
That's a good one. Yes, you can do that. Probably, you could put maybe the sergeant at arms or somebody to just keep a track on it. So
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Yeah, that's true.
And you can later calculate also the carbon footprint, more the
Yes.
major. In fact, you can ask them, we have kind of a sunshine box, that, so they can contribute to it.
Okay. Okay.
You have created so much amount of carbon footprint, you have created so much amount of damage to the earth. Why don't you contribute something?
Very good.
Good
Thank
one.
you.
At
Thank
least people will pay attention to the whosoever speaker has come to their topic. Then you
Yeah.
can stop. So that's a good idea. In fact, that reminds beginning of the meeting we should tell everybody, please switch off your mobiles and don't use it. Not even put it on vibrate mode. Otherwise, even there they are able to see it.
Sure.
Okay. Good one.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
one.
you.
Good. So before I could complete, this is like, somebody was just asked whether Google is a male or a female. So without, with due respect to the Several people here, the females, it is like this that before you complete the sentence, what your Google does is it immediately gives you the advice. Hardly you have typed few words. So it is like this. Before I completed my presentation, good, I had the questions. Okay. Now the benchmarks that were used, we had taken help of an environmental engineer. And they gave us these factors. Of course, on the electrical side, I'm by and large aware about it. How much a coal or a gas or a diesel-based power generates. But as far as the transportation is concerned, also, you see, if you can see the disposable tea cup or the water bottles, all these are under beverages, tea, coffee, water. In fact, it should be. That water part was missing. Everything that you have creates a carbon footprint. You are damaging. A human activity is being created. We are not directly drinking water like maybe what Rotary and Vivek is there. I still remember whenever I was in Meghalaya, all the water was flowing from the huge hills and we used to directly drink it. So no plastic bottles, nothing. That's an eco-friendly way, of course. But I'm sure that practice cannot happen when you have your clubs. Unless people bring their own bottles from home, then probably that can be reduced. But you see, these were the parameters we used. Every 1 cubic meter of water waste. So if you don't use, for example, a disposable crockery, if you're using a reusable, even that creates some kind of an emission. So the various emission factors were calculated, right? Including social media, it's very, very, very nominal. But they add. Unless you announce it loudly using your loudspeaker, which can be articulated in the entire city, that today there is a meeting, please come. Then your social media communication, you have already overcome your carbon footprint, but that's not practicable. So again, as I said, don't do it at the quality of life and quality of science. As science progresses, we tend to use more and more gadgets or activities. The carbon footprint calculator is not telling you not to use it. Please don't mistaken me on that. But we have to find out means and ways to overcome that. Now, some of the project ideas, how we can reduce the carbon footprint. Idea is, to become a net zero club or maybe the district. Perhaps that may become a thing, maybe over 10-year period. I don't know. So the first point I put, have some kind of an energy efficient governor installation or a district conference. The beginning can be made from there. Try reducing where the wastages are there. Identify those areas. You're not asking the district governor to do his installation under the tree and people sit below. Don't even bring chairs and nothing, everything, because even bringing chairs to transport causes carbon footprint. No, don't take that way. But identify the gray areas where the wastages can be saved. Create tree bank. Tree plantation is very easy. Invite Rotarians, Rotractors to sponsor a sapling with a life cycle maintenance. Very important. Hand it over to maybe a farmer or somebody to do the life cycle maintenance by creating a central pool, and they can celebrate their birthday, anniversary, calculate how much carbon footprint we have reduced by planting certain amount of sapling, and what's their life, and in lifetime how much they save the carbon footprint. Since I am more inclined to solar energy, you know why? I'm a solar energy specialist. In fact, the sun has so many number of degrees, it is probably one of the most qualified chap. That's why, I put most of my ideas on the solar energy part. Okay. So, we worship sun not because of its great height, but because of the benefits it gives to us. That's very important. Okay. You'll find a lot of my solar energy projects listed out. Community solar water desalination and thermal cooking, solar decentralized plants at happy villages, agriculture pumping. This is going to be a very big program, and I foresee a great role of Rotary in this. In fact, the first target to reduce carbon footprint is to eliminate the use of diesel. We have to be very, very, very understanding in this. There are a lot of agriculture pumpings in our country that are dependent on diesel power, because getting electricity connection is a big issue. and since electricity cost is subsidized for agriculture. Self-sponsored rooftop solar power projects or the solar hot water projects. Maybe clubs to sponsor at least 5 passenger cargo electric auto rickshaws. Our district did the first, in fact, passenger electric auto rickshaw project in the history of Rotary International. Hope so, it is the first. This was launched about 2 months back. And as an ongoing project, that particular club is going to further charge the batteries using solar power. So that's an example. They have already reduced, their carbon footprint. They got inspired by that. It will appear in the next slide. Another idea is, undertake with Rotractors the home energy audit. Now, a set of questions can be made on the practices used by the house owners on their day-to-day electricity use and how they consume their electricity and cooking gas in a week. You see, a repetition happens in a week. Find out how they do it. Are they using the best practices? If not, tell them what are the best practices. You would have done your service to the society. And claim, how much energy savings were achieved. So that much amount of carbon footprint was saved. Please motivate public gatherings to go vegetarian. You know that a non-vegetarian food does create huge carbon footprint. I'm not trying to advocate that everybody please go vegetarian. I'm not trying to hurt the feelings, but we have to understand why non-vegetarian creates carbon footprint, because to feed these animals, we need to plant trees or other feed items, which requires a lot of soil, water, land. All these add, to the carbon footprint. And then we don't consume the entire animal. We only consume a little portion of it. We meaning, at least I'm a vegetarian, but those who do it, the rest of it is wasted. So a lot of carbon footprint is created. So I don't wish to hurt the sentiments for my last idea. Then, how publicity and awareness could be done. District team to develop series of short awareness programs on how to reduce carbon footprint measures. District team to develop a webpage that measures carbon footprint. Every district can do this. In fact, you can take this now by the respective club. Okay, that can be monitored online and measurable. In fact, the district can keep awards or reward the clubs who have shown reduction in the carbon footprint. Reward everybody who do it. Give them a good certificate. District environment team to advise all clubs on need to reduce the carbon footprint and measures to overcome. If you need funding for all your activities, corporates will come ahead, particularly the ISO 14000 and ISO 50001 under environment management. They would be ready. In fact, they'll be glad. They need to spend this money. You'll be assisting them, aiding them in doing projects, which I said, I related to some of the solar energy project, or if you have any other sustainable project in mind, like the mangroves, even they will save a lot of carbon footprint, I'm sure. Or any project that helps in cleaning the air or improving our air quality or reducing the global warming. Manufacturers of renewable energy to sponsor for awareness and publicity. Why? Because in return they get business. They need equally publicity, and they are always inclined to share their business on a platform like the Rotary, because Rotaries and the Giants and the Lions, these are the clubs where there are elite class of people who come, so they equally benefit. Explore global grants from clubs outside South Asia for large-scale renewable energy projects. So, for example, if you want to set up a huge battery charging station, let's say for e-mobility, the electric mobility, probably you may get a chance to get the global grants. Some may would like to work on the circular economy. Calculate the carbon footprint, you can seek the global grants on it. So I'm just sharing, the first electric auto rickshaw. This was undertaken by our district 3131. You can see, the district governor of region 3131. Rotarian Pankaj are handing over to the beneficiary the keys of the electric auto rickshaw. The club has already reduced its carbon footprint by about 60%, they calculated, if this auto rickshaw operates over a period of 10 years by ferrying a fixed kilometer in a year. It will be used, in fact, to ferry the school students. So it will run for a certain period fixed. Apart from that, it will be ferrying passengers. You can see the image when the RI president had come to Mumbai for an event on mangroves. And thanks to Rotarian Meena, when she announced there that, a carbon footprint calculator was created, Rotarian Shekhar was really excited and he called me and he asked me, why this has not reached all the clubs, why it has not gone, why every Rotarian is not aware about it. I said, well, fine. Then in that case, let me have more publicity and awareness and address to several of the clubs about this particular subject. In fact, I requested also, and thanks, even the Rotary News published this, and the RI president even tweeted about it, that what a fantastic work the Rotary community is doing. For those who understand Hindi, there was a very famous song going back to the older days. हम लाए हैं तूफान से किश्ती निकाल के, सिमिलरली हम लाए धूप से हरियाली निकाल के, धूल से हरियाली निकाल के इस धरती को रखना रोटेरियन स्वच्छता से. Let's all be the climate yodhas. Thank you very much. And I'm open now to questions and interactions.
Thank you so much, Jaideep. The floor is open for questions. It'll be easier if you can raise your hand, or put the raise the hand icon on, so it'll be easy to follow.
I have a small question for you,
Mm-hmm.
which is that electric rickshaws and electric everything is fine, but where is the power for electric rickshaws coming from? Is it from coal burning? Is it from nuclear reactors? Where is it coming from?
Oh, no, yeah, see, I made that very clear earlier. As of now, they are charging through the grid-based electricity. Infrastructure is a challenge.
No, but where is the power coming from?
So, depends. Today, the renewable energy mix is different in different states.
No,
If you
but
take the
does
case
solar
of,
and does the solar energy department have the what do you call, the wherewithal to be able to run this?
if I understand you correctly, you're asking currently how are they charging? They are charging through the existing electrical system available.
What
Let's say if I take the case of Maharashtra, okay, where 60% is coal based, all right, 12% is renewable energy based power, the balance is gas based, and about 3% is nuclear. So we cannot measure that electricity which is coming in my electric socket, whether it is coal based or renewable based. But that's what is going to be the long term project.
we are at 12%, and we have to increase that.
We have to, and that's where, yes, the efforts are on. It cannot happen overnight.
Okay, I just had a doubt. So
No, we are at, in fact, some of the states even have gone up to 20%. A state like Karnataka, they have gone beyond 15%.
okay, you mean to say we need to work on that, no, first, where the energy is
Well, I don't think a Rotary clubs can achieve 100% in that. It's not a task.
No, not
The government-
100%. We have to work on increasing that.
Right. So that's what I put. The best thing is where Rotary can have a role, the electric charging infrastructure is going to mushroom in another couple of years. Why not approach the corporates, the companies, to let their roofs where we can put up the solar panels? Okay, I'll give you a project idea. That put up the solar panels, get them sponsored by that particular corporate or maybe the ISO 14,000 companies, and these charging stations, there will be definitely be some charge to charge your batteries. There will be some money required to be paid. request
Can
the
we ask these corporates and big companies to negate their bio footprint by going into solar or
yes. In fact, in our district, we had
will
two
you
of the
follow up with
Rotarians.
that?
Yeah, yeah, you are right. You are very good. You are bang on target. They can do that, but they can equally assist you. As I said, the global grants can be there, or these corporates can assist you in setting up solar charging stations. See, for a solar
So,
charging
as
station,
long as they what do you call minus their own solar footprint, I mean
No,
their
no, no.
own bio footprint.
Arun, what you're trying to say is trying to get their carbon footprint erased by investing in solar. There are now issues right now. I'm sure Jaideep is aware, but I'd just like to add this right now. So now they are looking at also the company which wants to buy their carbon credits by giving you a solar station or anything. They're also looking at their ethics now. So this has become a huge issue now in Rotary in terms of selling of carbon credits to a company.
We don't have a
For,
carbon selling.
we do have, and there is a
Right.
new rule that's coming up right now.
Okay.
And there are 5 main countries which are working on it. And they've not come up with a system, but there's a system that's coming in. So any other questions? Can we move on?
I'll just add quickly one thing. It's not so easy to get the what you can say, the carbon revenue, whatever you are saving. Okay, carbon emissions, if you are saving, to get the revenue, there are many challenges. The monitoring is very expensive. So I don't want to dwell more into that. Let's not focus on that. But perhaps, yes, one of the projects the club can do is motivate the corporates to put up a rooftop solar system for their captive generation. But carbon credits, it's a very expensive affair.
Any other questions?
I have one question.
Good
Yeah,
evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah.
Who's,
Ramakrishnan.
please go ahead.
I stay in an apartment in Bangalore, and we have solar about 65 kilowatt installed. But last 2-3 days, we had presentations from SEMA Connect, TVS, all those people who are doing this EV charging. And none of them were talking about charging EV through solar. And luckily, because I am working on solar last 6 years, and they were not able to answer the question. They say this is over the BESCOM rate, you have to go. So they were all, because even the brochure doesn't talk about solar charging of the EV vehicles. And thank you for your valid input. In fact, tomorrow itself we'll start working on how to divert 65 kilowatt to about 100 vehicles of EV in our apartment. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Anshu?
Yes, good evening, Nakshi and sir. My question is, I want to know more about mangrove restoration. How can I get help on this topic? There's a detailed knowledge about this.
Anshu, if you can just contact me, I'll put my email address on the chat. We'll
Okay.
take it offline. Thank you.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Everybody of you, please at least share one of the carbon footprint calculation, because then I will feel privileged. At least, the efforts are fruitful or worthwhile. Can that happen?
Yeah, that can
I'm asking
definitely
for
happen.
it.
What I'm trying to say is, for all the people who attended today, the recording will be up in a couple of days. I will send the link to the recording. Also, for all that who have registered here, I'm going to put the website where you can download the carbon footprint calculator and use it for one of your club meetings. And I think that will help Jaideep know how things are across the country. So
Yeah.
definitely, Jaideep will get this done.
Yeah. Please help spread this message wherever in your clubs, in your district.
Jaideep, can you just put the calculator link on the chat, please?
Okay. I'll try to.
There's a question for you, Jaideep. What is the reduction of carbon emissions for a 1 kilowatt solar system?
Sorry, your voice.
There's a question in the chat from Chakravarti. What is the reduction of carbon emissions for a 1 kilowatt solar system?
See, I'll tell you, a thumb rule is for every electrical unit which is kilowatt hour of coal-based power that you avoid, you save about 0.9 kgs of CO2. Every unit of coal-based, I'm telling. If your state has a higher mix of gas, nuclear and renewable, you'll have to bring down this to probably 0.75 or maybe 0.8. So then you can calculate. But the best is, to use the factor of 0.9. So let's say typically, 1 kilowatt system in a tropical region like Maharashtra, Karnataka or Gujarat, it will generate about 1700 units in a year. So multiply that by 0.9 kg, that much amount of kgs of CO2 you have avoided. If it's Rajasthan, it will be much more. If you go in the northeastern regions or the Uttarakhand and Himachal, they will be around 1100 to 1200.
Any other questions?
So I'll just put the.
About Tamil Nadu. Because we have the Neyveli Lignite Corporation and all of that happening. We have the Kalpakam nuclear station, and we have one more controversial.
Yeah, but none of the nuclear stations in Tamil Nadu are giving more than 1%, I think, of the entire power for the state. So practically, that is an issue. But we can find out. We can find out and get it.
Don't you think that should be something that we are working on to improve?
Yep. I think Tamil Nadu has got the largest number of solar units manufactured, isn't it, Jaideep? Or is that Karnataka?
No, the manufacturing units, if you are talking, they will emerge in Tamil Nadu a lot, but as of now, Gujarat is leading.
Okay, in making the panels. But when you make the panel, Jaideep, is the cost of making the panel included in your carbon reduction?
Yes, good question. So that's called as the embodied energy.
Okay.
It's close to around 5% to 7% of the total emissions that it saves. There is, producing silicon, highly purified silicon, up to 6 nines we take. That is 99.9999. These are made using huge reactors that require thermal heating.
So
but
that
it's
disposal.
only 5%.
As Arun is asking about disposal, every year also the panels will reduce in their efficiency. So is that factored in?
Well, I think.
I'm sorry I'm asking you all this, but you know better than
Arun is policing on me. Well, I am heading the task force set up by the government, but I should not be disclosing this on this platform. Anyway, please restrict to yourself. I am heading the task force set up by the central government and Niti Aayog on circular economy in solar waste management. So I may shortly probably become a startup in this. There are plenty of challenges in that. Not easy, but it will happen. Yes, it will happen, Arun. And I see a role of Rotary in that, so I'll come to you on that.
And what about the?
Sorry, what do you say?
What about the storage systems? Right now, we are using lead acid batteries and things like that, and some places lithium battery for storing. So again, lithium is not a huge amount present in the world. It's not an unlimited, are water or salt batteries coming in or aluminum batteries coming in?
Plenty of technologies for battery storage are coming up. Some are using ammonia, some are using aluminum. So plenty of R&D is going. Yes, you are true that when we talk of lithium batteries, it doesn't mean it only contains lithium. It contains nickel, cobalt, and many other items. But the lithium part, that maybe handful of countries are making, largely being Canada and China. So, you have a good point. In fact, there are challenges also to recycle lithium. As of now, lithium cannot be recycled. And that's why they are coming out with other chemical combinations which are abundant and which will provide higher density. The advantage of lithium is, it provides higher density compared to lead acid. But lead is toxic. So,
Okay,
those are
any last questions before we close? And Jaideep, I would request you to put your email address also on the chat.
sure.
So thank you so much, Jaideep, for a very informative talk. And I'm sure we had at the time about 25 participants, at least healthy, hoping that we will get 15 people to use your club calculator and send you the results. Thank you so much, everyone who made the time to be part of this today. If you're not ESRAG members, kindly consider joining us. To join us, it is esrag.org/join, or you can talk to one of us and we'll help you join us. Thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing you next month on our monthly seminar series. Thank you and good night.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Jaideep.
Wonderful.
Very informative session.